Welcome back to BetHaven, the safe place for safe plays. Back again after a major championship week. We did very well at the Open Championship. I'm sure some of you guys have seen on social media so far. I've posted it everywhere. We hit a pretty big contest in DraftKings, finished 5th place, took home a $12,500 prize. It was the lineup that we built live at the end of last show.
I mean, put it on the show. I mean, we can't set it up any better for y'all.
Yeah, it was what's crazy is that our actual picks, like the picks that we gave out, weren't incredible. I think I had Russell Henley first round leader, which he was up there. I forgot. Who'd you have first round?
I had maybe Matsuyama.
Yeah, that's right. Decky didn't play very well, but he was on that DraftKings team and did make the cut for us. So, you know, the actual picks that we gave
all my picks, I will say all 4 of my picks did make the cut.
Yeah, mine did not. I think I had Russell Henley. Favorite play was... Oh, wait, my favorite play was Hideki. That's right. You had him first round. I had him favorite play.
Yeah, I was Hideki first round.
So there's 2 for 2, sort of.
Morikawa favorite. Henley, I believe, was top 20, which was a great one. If somebody out there bet it, I think he was like plus 300, or if he wasn't plus 300, he was really close to it. And then Siwoo top 40, which I think he probably just missed.
I had Wyndham Clark top 20, and he sucked.
I literally tried to talk you out of that too. I tried to talk you out of that on the show. I saw too much of him.
Yeah, no, he was not good. So yeah, whatever. We hit the big contest. We did it live on the show, and we're gonna do that again. So if you missed out on last week, we are gonna build another lineup at the end of this one. So maybe you can jump aboard that.
We got to. If we can go 2 for 2, making big money and paying out the listeners of the show, I think that's a win-win.
Yeah, we already posted the results of we did a random wheel spin. That person has received notification that they won. Waiting on the payment source, whatever they want me to send it to on that. But yeah, I think that the Open went kind of how we thought it would, but also not at all how we thought it would. A ton of big names missed the cut. Just straight up carnage, and it was absolutely pivotal to weather stack these guys or wave stack these guys. You know, we saw just anybody in the AM. Was it AM late? It was AM PM was just bad.
Yeah, AM PM was bad, and PM AM was good. And I did honestly wave stack several lineups that way, and they pretty much all ended up going 6 of 6. The only one in that wave stack that didn't do good was Akshay. Akshay was technically actually in the good wave.
Yes, he was.
He was towards the end of the good wave, so he wasn't like in the super like sweet spot.
Right.
But he was in a pretty good spot and still missing the cut, unfortunately. But we'll talk about that. There's a couple guys in here that I believe were in the bad wave and missed the cut. And then there was others that were in the good wave, and so we'll talk about it. But yes, there definitely was a wave stack. PMAM was the way to go. Something to keep in mind going forward is that, like, especially at the Open, a wave stack can be possible because of the weather, but it's really possible anywhere. So you really need to be aware of it at any course. And yeah, it absolutely paid off. I mean, beyond our lineup that did really good and ended up winning a lot of money, I was up on my other lineups as well. I had I made a ton of lineups, honestly, more than normal, but I had at least 10 6 of 6s. Was up beyond ours, which was up obviously a lot of money. I was up 200 on just my other lineups with other 6 of 6s, and the 6 of 6s were only 5%. 6 of 6 was the overall kind of what everybody did, and I was well above that number because I didn't have any Rory, I didn't have any Bryson. I don't know, trying to think of who else missed. I had a little bit of
Fleetwood missed, Cam Smith missed, like just big names.
I had a little bit of those guys sprinkled, but my core made it. Like, other than Akshay was the only guy in my core players that I like had a lot of percentage of, that he was the only one that missed, and he ruined a couple of really good lineups too, a couple of Millie lineups. But yeah, awesome week. I can't wait to dive back into it again.
And we'll do that here soon. I mean, I knew going into the weekend that we were going to at least win something. I had a pretty strong feeling about that. Yeah. Whenever you have a 6 of 6 lineup, and you know, Chandler just mentioned that less than 5% of lineups within the contest had 6 out of 6 people make the cut. That's a good recipe for success there. It's a really good way to start the weekend process. But
yeah, we were outside of the money also too in the contest we
Right.
were in, which was a single entry contest. We were outside of the money going into the weekend. Sung J M makes it on the number, then ends up in the good wave stack on Saturday. Because of that, he ends up playing like first thing in the morning,
shoots
plays
5 under.
plays great.
Yeah.
And then the guys in the afternoon who were up at the top of the leaderboard kind of get screwed with a bad weather, that came in. And next thing you know, Sung Jae's like, I think
T13.
he ended up like 5 shots off the lead going
Yeah.
into Sunday after
Yeah.
making the cut on the number. Is kind of wild. But that's the way it kind of went out there. Is there was wave stacks, and some of it you can't predict. Obviously, we can't predict that Sung Jae is going to make the cut on the number and then get the good wave stack. Like you can't predict that. But that was a good break that we got for sure. And for him to come from +6 and get all the way up there inside the top 10 was a good break for sure. And was the difference, honestly.
Yeah, having him make the cut was the ultimate decider. I still think there was a chance we would have finished inside the money.
Yeah, we probably would have because of picks like Russell Henley that ended up playing well.
And Xander, obviously.
And Xander, yeah. But
which is crazy because Xander wasn't even, I don't know how much on your radar he was, but I went back and rewatched the process of us making that team, and we both kind of struggled at certain points. We were like couldn't figure out who to pick, and you were just like, we're picking somebody to make the cut. Pick somebody to make the cut. And I was like, as I'm scrolling, I'm like, Xander's gonna make the cut. Like he's just a grinder. He's shown us that he can, do it across different things. He's got the monkey off his back with the PGA Championship earlier this year. I didn't think he would win. I just felt good about him making the cut. So it actually ended up working out really well.
Xander wasn't like I did have him on some lineups because he had been so solid, and I did trust him more than Rory and Bryson, who were right there. So I typically, like at the top, I had the most Morikawa, then Scotty, then Xander.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the order I had. So I did have some Xander, but no, he was not my first click. But he also wasn't like a full fade like Bryson and Rory for me.
Right. And yeah, Bryson ended up being a really good fade.
Also in the bad wave. Bryson was in the bad wave. Rory was as well. But, there was guys in the bad wave that still made the cut. So they just didn't play very well, obviously. And
it's
the difference.
There's bad breaks out there too. Those bunkers are they're ruthless out there. And then you can draw uncertain lies out in that thick fescue and things like that. So.
I genuinely enjoyed watching them struggle. I know Shane Lowry came on after and was basically had tears in his eyes whining about how it's unfair and it's this and that.
He was screaming at somebody that basically saved his ball from going into one of the bushes.
I don't know, man. Shane Lowry kind of...
He rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, he did. That was not a great look for him. But then he's nice, but then he's kind of... I don't know. There was a whole Twitter thing too about Billy Horschel being fake. I think Shane Lowry might be a little fake, with the smile and everything he puts on. But then he can be
because he's got that big like teddy bear feel where Billy's like very sharp, like featured, like looks kind of mean.
Billy looks like some finance guy. Like I don't know. He's your buddy, but he's not really.
Sell you a mortgage.
Yeah, he's your buddy, but he's not. And Shane Lowry can just turn from the nicest guy to an asshole so fast.
But did you see the one I'm talking about where his ball literally hit somebody's leg and he's like screaming up, how about not standing in the middle of the fairway and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, that person just saved you. I don't know if you know that or not, but.
And then the complaining, it's garbage that we had to play, the tees the final holes, it's too long. And it's like, dude, the weather came up. What are they supposed to do? Everybody in your wave had to play it and you played the worst. So maybe just play better and survive the day. And whatever. He and then Bobby Mack ends up making the cut, by the way, which I didn't.
I know. I squeaked in the Bryson and Bobby Mack are going to miss the cut at the very end of last show. And I was like, I saw the leaderboard late on Friday. And I'm like, oh my God, that's actually going to be true. And then Bobby Mack
ends up making it. But yeah, he had a very similar situation in the tall grass, in the fescue, hacks at it.
Yep.
And misses or whiffs or doesn't get out or whatever. And he immediately calls to his caddy, but this time he admitted, he was like, yep, that was pretty obvious. I definitely tried to hit that and it didn't go anywhere.
I think if he would have tried to do that again, Not saying that it's confirmed that he tried it the first time, but if he would have done it again, he knows that there would have been some more eyes on that. Again, like you said, it was a major a week,
Yeah.
and
But then he takes like a triple, I think, or something on the hole. And then, yeah, he caught fire towards the end of his round, ended up making the cut, which I didn't like because I had none of them. But
he finally got the Guinness out of his system around the back nine. So
I guess so.
All right. Well, this week they are at where are they at? Blair.
They're in
Minnesota.
TPC Twin Cities.
TPC Twin Cities, back on a TPC course. The 3M Open.
Getting par 71, 7,430 yards.
Pretty long.
That's a little bit longer than normal. It's not like super long, but it is longer than normal. Past champions for me is kind of weird. If you list these names, you would think that driving distance would be a huge deal, but the stats kind of tell you it's maybe not a huge deal. So I'm honestly kind of conflicted. But past champions are Matthew Wolff, Cameron Champ, and Tony Finau.
Yeah, and then Lee Hodges won last year.
And
Lee Hodges
not
long at all.
No, but those three guys are like, when you think of driving distance guys, those are like three of the first names that would pop up.
Yeah,
at different levels too. Like obviously a great golfer, a kind of medium-ish golfer in Matthew Wolff, who kind of has gone up and down, and then Cam Champ, like kind of a bottom level guy who obviously crushes the ball. But the stats will tell you that accuracy is over distance. But with names like that, winning golf tournaments, I'm not convinced. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be kind of a luck of the draw situation. You obviously want, the better players when you're making these lineups and making these picks. But I think that there's certain stats that you can look at that kind of correlate to success here, that are a little bit off the beaten path from your driving distance, driving accuracy type things, and we can get into that. But let's jump right into it. 3M Open. We'll start with first round leader this week, and let's see if we can hit one of these. You hit Russell Henley top 10 after round one last week.
Yep, that got it kicked off in the right start.
Yep.
Last week that was a good bet.
Took my strategy, used the 10 or 30% boost on Bet365. It was the right play. I mean, we
both loved him. The stats loved him. The only thing was that the history wasn't there.
Right.
But that was a classic case of ignore the history. Just look at the stats, look at the golfer, look at how he's playing, and make your decision that way, not based on what he's done the last 5 years in Scotland.
Yep.
So it paid off, which was great.
All right, let's see what we can do this week. Go ahead with your first round leader.
All right, so my first round leader this week is going to be Johnny Vegas. Johnny Vegas, 70-1 first round leader. Also love him as a DraftKings play this week, 7,500. His last event was at the Rocket Mortgage. He finished T25, had a bad round 4, was in contention, had a bad round 4 shot, 1 over. But for the week, he was great on approach, great off the tee, and lost a little bit putting, lost a little bit around the greens, gaining over a shot per round on approach and gaining almost a shot per round off the tee. This course fit is also great for Johnny Vegas. Like I said, I'm kind of conflicted on the driving distance thing. I actually think that it's going to help more than the stats would tell you. Johnny Vegas is very long off the tee. He's number 6 in this field off the tee. And a key stat that everybody can agree on, the stats would tell you, and it makes sense, given that this is a little bit longer of a course, your approach shots into the greens are going to be a little bit longer. So strokes gained approach from 175 to 200 is a really big stat for me. And Johnny Vegas in this field is number 1 in that stat. He hasn't played these last couple of weeks. He hasn't played in any of these tournaments. His last one was the Rocket Mortgage. He's playing good, gaining 0.8 per round off the tee in his last 24 rounds, gaining 0.44 on approach last 24 rounds. For him, it's just the putting, and the putting kind of comes and goes for him. Last 3 events, 27th, 25th, 20th. He's at too big of a number for this field. He's on a regular PGA Tour event, I think he's somewhere in the middle. In this PGA Tour event, in this field, I think he's definitely in the top third for me, and his price really doesn't indicate that. So love him on DraftKings. I'll take a flyer here at 70-1 first round leader, Johnny Vegas.
I've already got a ticket on Johnny Vegas, first round leader.
Oh, nice. Didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's not my first round leader pick, but I've been trying to catch the odds when they drop to see if I can find some guys.
Do you know what number you got him at? I haven't.
I have him at 65.
65. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't really shopped the 70-1. It just was what I saw.
So shopping for me comes later. And it's if I kind of go with like a feel thing when these odds first drop, and I've been using Bet365 mostly at this point. So when they drop, I just kind of pick the guys that I've already have come across my radar. Vegas was absolutely on that already. So yeah, when it dropped, I think it was 65. I'll have to confirm later, but yeah, I mean, I had already known where he was at as far as the approach stuff goes, the distance stuff goes, and I felt like he's got decent history here. And the other thing about Johnny Vegas, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I think they interviewed him after one of these recent tournaments, either John Deere or I don't know what the other ones he's played recently, maybe Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, these last two were the John Deere and the Rocket Mortgage.
He had been dealing with an injury. I don't know exactly what that injury was, but he basically came out and was like, yeah, I feel healthier than I have, and I'm ready to kind of get back into the swing of things. So he's put together some really solid finishes, I think, somewhere in the T20s, the last 3 events he's played in. So
yep.
Yeah, he obviously is feeling more comfortable, and the stats line up. I think that's a perfect pick. Let's see, and I think he's pretty good price on DraftKings. Is he not 7,500, something like that?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. All right, my first round leader is a little bit longer shot than yours. It's going to be Doug Gim, 85-1. Doug Gim is 4th in approach in this field in his last 24 rounds. He's not a distance guy, but I want to say he's a fairly accurate driver of the golf ball. Don't know where he ranks in this field, but I do know that he's up there in accuracy as far as the tour stats. And then he's also 11th in tee to green in this field in his last 24 rounds. Putter is bad for him, but I think, I've seen him spike with the putting. It's very seldom that it happens, but if you're going to catch Doug Gim on a spike putter, I think you're going to get it in the first round. So we saw him, and I can't remember if I picked him or not. I might have just mentioned his name, but saw him kind of break away early at the PGA Championship and then kind of fell off on the back nine. But it's in there for him. His approach numbers and his tee to green, like for what he is and the type of numbers that you can get on him, his strokes gained tee to green is up there with some of the better players on tour. So my hope is that we get a hot putter this week from Doug Gim.
Yeah, he's looking, like you said, last 24 rounds. Let's see where it puts him. He's 4th in this field on approach last 24 rounds. His thing that hurts him is his putting. And maybe you catch a hot putter. I don't mind. Obviously, we do this pretty often. We take a guy who's
team no putt,
good on approach, and just hope that he putts level and just see where it puts him.
Yeah, even a 0 putter.
Just see where he ends up. So yeah, I don't mind that pick. He was not on my radar at all, really. But yeah, just another one of these guys in this between 6,800 and 7,500. It seems like there's a million of them.
Yeah. He might be pretty owned. I think he rates out pretty well in a lot of people's models because of the approach bucket
because
stuff.
Of the approach, yeah. Anytime you get a guy in this range that's spiking on approach, people will take a chance, which is probably a good idea.
So, and some of the times, like my strategy for that is if I think that they're going to rate out well for the model, or, if I feel like he's going to be super owned, I won't play them on DraftKings, but I will, throw a ticket on them or something and just kind of try to cover my bases there.
Yeah. No, I don't mind that at all.
All right. Favorite play.
So my favorite play this week is a guy that was at the Open. He was in the wrong wave, absolutely, and kind of got screwed, had a couple big numbers, and that is Tony Finau. Tony Finau, 12-1 to win this golf tournament, 10,500 DraftKings. He is the most expensive guy in DraftKings, but he probably should be. He's been amazing, except for the Open, where he was caught in the wrong wave. He shot 71-81. His 81 came with a triple and a quad. And he still didn't miss the cut by that much. He ended up plus 10 at the end of the day. Birdied 18 just for the hell of it. But even though he obviously was in the wrong wave and didn't play great, he was still gaining on approach and he was still gaining putting. So if Tony Finau is going to gain putting,
right,
and he's going to gain on approach, and he's coming back to a course that he loves, he's got great history here. His history here is insane, actually. 7th, 1st, 28th, 3rd, 23rd. I mean, Tony Finau just checks a lot of boxes. And I'm gonna need you to take over so I can drink some water.
Tony Finau. I think this was the tournament that he won. He won back-to-back tournaments, and I want to say it was this one and maybe the Rocket Mortgage. As you
Dying over here.
You're getting all choked up on Tony Finau.
Yeah.
No, I love Tony. I've picked him a lot this season for a lot of different stuff. So it's kind of weird. It's like you said, that the stats don't really tell you that distance is something, but they focus more on accuracy. I think accuracy is actually one of the more important stats for the course. But Tony is not an accurate driver of the golf ball. What he is good at, and this is what I said I was going to touch on later as you started bringing this kind of stuff up, is his approach numbers from rough. So like if you go to the PGA website and you go to stats, you'll get all these different stats of proximities from certain distances, all similar to your normal approach numbers. And Tony Finau from the rough is like, he's up there on all of them. And his rough proximity, just the general stat, I think he ranks like 8th on tour. So while he's not an accurate driver of the golf ball, apparently he just doesn't care about the rough.
Yeah, accuracy is not great, but distance is. And just for me, the main thing is just his course history, the fact that before this Open he was playing amazing. He got in a bad wave. The stats still check out for me. I don't know how many people will go back to him. Probably a lot, honestly, but that's fine. I'll still go to him. 10,500 is not an insane price. It's not a Scotty price, and honestly, you could almost justify it here. But yeah, for me, Tony Finau will be the start of a lot of my DraftKings lineups.
I wonder how popular he'll be this week, because this is the most expensive he's been in a while, and
he should be, though.
Rightfully so, yeah.
Look at the guys below him, and they're even close. Thigala, Burns, Akshay, Horschel, Mitchell, Clanton, Post. Like, Tony Finau is in a different league than all of those guys.
Right.
So yeah, for me, he could be 12,000. I'd probably still pick him, honestly.
What's your ownership projection?
I don't have one yet, but I would guess that.
No, I meant yours personally.
Yeah, my personally. Yeah. I mean, 30. Probably most owned in this field, but he should be.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like to play here. You good, dude?
Dude, no.
Are you all right? You need should we pull up a quick YouTube video, how to take a sip?
No, dude, it's not even the sip. I got like a dry spot in my throat. I'm getting sick or something. I don't know.
Oh, God. Get out of here. All right, my favorite play is somebody who was also at the Open, but he was only there for 2 rounds, and that's Akshay Bhatia. Akshay was, like you said, kind of in the right wave, but
yeah, he was in the right way, but he was towards like the tail end of it.
Yeah, he was a PM AM guy, one of the later tee times. And listen, I saw on maybe TikTok or Twitter, Akshay was in the Bahamas on quote unquote vacation the week before the Open. Now he had his swing coach with him. I'm sure he was playing courses, and probably
was that his girl's TikTok?
Yes.
She really posted that.
Oh yeah,
the Bahamas. I didn't know that. I saw the. Well, I showed you. I think the like trip from Raleigh to whatever, which I love. By the way, I hope that she continues to do that. Ben Griffin does it too.
Yep, I saw Ben Griffin's post.
I love it.
Well.
I think it's great. It's behind the scenes stuff. Ben, I don't want to get off, but Ben Griffin posted one of his journey back from the Open back to Orlando where he lives, and it was a nightmare.
Was it? Did he fly Delta?
I don't know if he flew Delta, but dude, it was a nightmare. Like he had to obviously drive to the airport, then he had to get there. There was 1 million people.
Mm-hmm.
The outage happened like obviously around this time. Mm-hmm. So people were freaking out. He had a connecting flight. He said he left like first thing in the morning. He didn't get home in Orlando until like 11 at night. Just chaos.
Bad week to miss the cut. Because at least you could have gotten like Saturday, Sunday to get them to figure it out. And maybe if you make the cut, you finish high enough to take a private jet back.
Well, exactly. But also if you make the cut, like you have less time. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, it was just eye-opening to see how much of a task it was to get back to the United States for him.
Yeah. No, I mean, Akshay's, it was like a, come with me on my family vacation with my boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this motherfucker's going to the Bahamas before the Open. Now, I did think that being down there, maybe the wind, that was there, he was there to kind of get used to playing in the wind and whatnot. But obviously, the playing in the Bahamas is very different than playing in Scotland. But yeah, I think coming off of a quote unquote vacation, been playing a ton. Like before that, he played several weeks in a row. I think this is maybe a good week for him to get back on track. Missed the cut. He's obviously a competitor. He wants to finish well. Had some very close finishes coming down the stretch prior to the Open. So
he only missed by one. Gained a stroke and a half off the tee. Was driving a great. Lost a little bit on approach, about a shot per round for his 2 rounds, obviously, and then lost a little bit around the greens and even less putting. So missed by one. Yeah, I don't know. He's tricky for me this week, honestly. I really don't know. I could see him missing the cut again. I could see him winning. What do you think his ownership's going to be? High?
I don't know. I mean, if you think Tony's going to be 30,
I think Tony's going to be through the roof. Yeah. I mean, relatively through the roof.
I know he's been bet down quite a bit.
There could be a lot of people. Well, then he's probably going to be very on.
Exactly.
There could be a lot of lineups that start Tony Akshay because you can get to it this week.
Yeah, but there's so many guys at the bottom that like even if you felt like those 2 dudes were going to be the most owned, you could still make it work. But yeah, I mean, I am with you. I could see Akshay.
We'll look at it at the end. We'll fly through this and then look through it at the end, which I think is
what's
the best way to do the show. But yeah,
look, we're talking about. I mean, before the miscut at the Open, Akshay, relative to this field, is probably having the best season out of anybody. I mean, that's just facts. Look at the finishes compared to the rest of the field. So you've got how many guys above him price wise? You got Tony, Theegala.
You could argue that Tony's had as good of a season.
Still doesn't have a win.
Yeah, but 3rd at the U.S. Open, 8th at Memorial, 5th Travelers.
Doesn't have a win.
Yeah, he's still. I don't know.
Regardless,
that'd be the only guy though. That'd be it. Like that, as far as an argument goes, yes, that'd be it.
Yeah, I would say that Tony is rightfully priced above Akshay, but the other guys are not. Compared to what they've achieved this season, Sahith has done. What has he done this season? Anything? A 4th of the Genesis,
4th of
Scottish,
Scottish,
2nd at RBC. I mean, he's got like good finishes, but he hasn't been there. He hasn't been in like the final grouping and like right there to win. I don't think.
No, nothing comes to mind, but I'm sure he has.
And then Burns, best finish came earlier this year at Waste Management, was 9th at the U.S. Open. That's fine. And then was actually in contention on the weekend and ejected on Sunday. Shot like 9 over or something on Sunday.
All right, well, we can talk about the top of the board at the end, but let's keep going on the picks. So you got Akshay favorite play.
Yeah.
Mainly DraftKings or a win ticket?
Not a win ticket, because if you got him early enough, I think you could have gotten him at a decent number. I saw someone post him at 40 to 1. I don't know how the hell they got that. That must have been a future, but I think he opened at 28. So that would have been a solid number. He's currently at 20, but he's 9-8 on DraftKings. Like I said, there's 3 or 4 guys above him that shouldn't be.
Right.
Well, I guess 3. But yeah, no, I think he's going to be a solid DK play. And if it's also going to depend on the ownership.
Yeah. I mean, ownership is everything as far as DraftKings lineups go. All right, top into my top 20. You ready?
I'm scared.
Top 20 for me this week is Taylor Pendrith. Taylor Pendrith is 8,700 on DraftKings, plus 175 to finish top 20. Last event was the Barracuda. He finished T5.
Did he finish that high?
Yep, T5. He was right there in contention to win the thing.
I didn't really pay attention to that tournament.
I didn't either, but he was there on Sunday. He was 5th in the field on approach, 5.5 gaining, ball striking gaining. He gained across the board is what I'm saying. He gained across the board and mainly on approach. Great week for him. He's also been just playing good, even regardless of the Barracuda. He's been playing good leading up to this, and he's been putting good. This guy's been putting way above his normal, like compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's gaining over a half a shot per round putting in his last 24 rounds. yeah, Taylor Pendrith is a great pick for me. He's got some distance too, which I kind of lean this week, even though most people probably won't. I'm gonna lean that way on a distance as being helpful. He's just a solid golfer right now. He's gaining across the board. Has the distance. Only played here once, missed the cut. Don't care. Honestly hope that keeps some ownership off of him. But yeah, Taylor Pendrith is my guy.
I think he'll be pretty owned. I mean, he's had a really solid year, and people like playing Pendrith. I don't know how much they're gonna like him at $8,700 on DK, but yeah, I think he's obviously one of the top tier golfers in this field specifically. So
yeah, I mean, he's kind of like Akshay. Like you're saying, Akshay, you think is maybe arguably the best or the second best in this field. Pendrith is priced as like the 10th or 12th best. I think he's maybe top 5.
Yeah, I would say top 5.
So,
all right. Well, your strategy is you're picking like the best golfers out of the field, which is, I mean, that's a solid strategy. So there's nothing to say about it. But I'm going with somebody that I've just had kind of an inkling about this entire season. I picked him a couple times. Seamus Power plus 350, top 20. He's had 2 top 20s in his last 3 starts. Gained with the putter in 5 straight events. One of his bigger struggles throughout the season, especially earlier in the season, was the putting. He's now gained 5 tournaments in a row with the putter, and he's been solid on approach all season. I think he's a little bit more accurate than I thought he was off the tee, so I'm hoping that he can kind of just keep the ball in the green stuff. There is water pretty much throughout this entire course. So I think that's where most of the accuracy comes in, and the approach numbers from certain spots. You want good ball strikers, and you want guys that can pick their spots. And
What's his price on DraftKings?
It's in the 7s.
But yeah, like you were saying, yeah, the danger to this course is water. Water is on in play on 15 of the 18 holes. So there he is, 7-3.
7-3.
Yeah. So whether it's off the tee or hitting into an approach shot, like you're going to need to keep the ball in the water. Now, there is not a stat that I can give you that is like he avoids the water. You just want to hit the best ball strikers that you can and hope that they don't hit in the water and ruin their week. But there's not really a stat for that. So, but yeah, that is the,
there definitely should be.
That is the danger of this course for sure. It's not that it's super long. It's not that it's super hard or the greens are insane or no. Like the danger is you can make a big number if you hit it in the water.
Yeah.
Don't hit it in the water. This course would eat me. So
you're saying you'd find a lot of water balls?
Yeah, I got no idea where it's going. I would just hit it in the water, honestly.
You must have had a bad round. What'd you play yesterday?
Yeah, no. Clueless. Got no idea where I'm going. I would play better at a longer... I'd probably play better at Royal Troon.
A lake style course?
Yeah, I'd play better there than I would where there's water everywhere. Let me hack at it again. But yeah, Seamus Power, not a bad pick. He's solid. He's another like solid golfer down here in this cluster of guys, 7,300. He's better than most on approach.
My strategy for fields like this,
he's got some distance, he's got some accuracy. He's just pretty solid.
My strategy for fields like this is like guys that we've just kind of seen pop up in random events. Like it doesn't matter where. Like we've seen Seamus pop up in random events. Obviously Akshay's popped up. We've seen Gim kind of pop, especially earlier in the season. God, it is storming out there.
Yeah, I don't know if they can hear that or not, but yeah.
But yeah, that's when you have fields like this, when there's like 4 guys at the top, and then it's really everybody else. That's kind of how I feel is the best way to approach it.
All right, my top 40 this week. He's a bit of a long shot too. I don't know his number to be honest with you, but his price kind of shocked me. It is Adam Schenk.
Oof.
Adam Schenk. 6,700 on DraftKings.
Let me see. I'll pull up his top 40 on Bet365, but keep going.
He has been not so great. That's why he's priced down here. But his potential is he can be a good golfer. I think it was last year we saw him pop up a couple of times. Let's pull up his Open. The reason I like him is he is a good course fit. He popped up in a custom model that I built that obviously had a little bit of driving distance. some approach buckets like the 175 to 200, bent grass putting.
Plus 220 top 40 on Bet365.
Okay, it's a pretty good number.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Schenk. Okay, Adam Schenk at the Open was +9, missed the cut, but he was number 3 in this field on approach. He was the number 1 golfer that missed the cut on approach. He gained 1.76 per round. He lost all of it around the greens. Clearly had some chipping problems. Maybe got hung up in some bunkers. I don't really know. But that's a sign of life from a guy who has clearly struggled to be number 3 in this field for the week on approach. And obviously number 1 that missed the cut by 2. I don't know, honestly, if he was in the bad wave or the good wave. I can't really remember. He wasn't on my radar, obviously. Yeah. I'm looking at his scorecard here. Round 1, he made... No way. Okay, never mind. I thought he made 18 pars, but that's not it. Yeah, no like massive numbers, a couple of doubles, I guess, but yeah, it's a sign of life is my main thing here. It's a sign of life where a course fit is good for the guy. If he can gain on approach, maybe he found something. He's off the tee, he was neutral, and he gained 1.76, like I said, on approach. The around the green stuff is random. The around the green stuff can be good or bad. And honestly, at this course, like if you're having to play around the green, you're probably not doing too good anyways.
Right.
So give me a good approach week from Adam Schenk here at this price, and he can contend with these guys. Like I said, 6,700 on DraftKings, super cheap. I'll take a flyer. I'm going to have him on some lineups if I have to go down the board a little bit. He's going to be my guy.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I picked Schenk maybe at least 2 times throughout the season on different types of picks. But yeah,
he's struggled.
He's been really, really bad.
There's nothing that you're going to pull up his stats and be like, oh, okay, he's playing good. Like, no, he's not playing good.
Yeah.
But we've seen it before. You get a sign of life. Like we saw it on Eric Cole. Eric Cole was so bad for like, 5-6 weeks in a row. And then all of a sudden we did see like a little bit of life. Like, wait a second, he's gaining on approach all of a sudden. And that's what I'm seeing here. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe he just had a lucky week, but maybe he was on the driving range and he figured something out. That's how golf works. I know what happens to me where all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, if I just think about this one little swing thought, all of a sudden I start flushing it again. I mean, that happens to these guys too. So
more often.
Yeah. I mean, they're constantly tweaking stuff. All of a sudden they find one little thing with their putting or one little thing with their swing, and all of a sudden it goes off and they can, catch fire again. So
I mean,
taking a chance here.
He would probably I don't know what his odds to win are, but
yeah,
that would be a good long shot. I feel like to bet.
I think I'm gonna have to throw $5 at him or something.
Let's see if I can.
I'm sure his number is massive. Like, given that he has not played well at all, I'm sure 365 probably has a pretty good enhanced win.
He's 200 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, in this field.
Yeah, I mean,
like
there's so many names that you can
this field isn't exactly the strongest in the world. So a guy with spike potential, maybe he's found something. I'll throw $5 at it and see what happens.
I just put 5 on it for you, just
perfect
for the vibes.
Perfect.
All right. My top 40 play is pretty close to yours. He was plus 220, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Ches Reavie plus 240. Ches Reavie, sort of the same thing that you've said. He's 14th in this field in accuracy. He's 6th in approach, and he's gained with the putter for 2 straight weeks. Ches Reavie has actually had a decent season when it comes to the approach stuff and the accuracy, but his putter has been awful. I've picked him a couple times now, and I actually had him outright to win. I don't know what tournament it was, but like this dude was missing 5-footers, 8-footers. I mean, he was terrible. So 2 weeks in a row now, we've seen positive performance with the putter. I think he's got decent history here. I know you're going more with the distance, but I do want some accuracy guys as well. I'll probably have builds where there's sort of the bomb and gougers and then the guys
I think
that
that's a
place
great
it.
idea to build based on a stat profile this week is probably a good idea because that could end up being how it is.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get a full squad of all bombers or like. There's gonna be a mix and match. It's just who are you gonna mix and who you're gonna match. Ches Reeves finishes at the 3M. Missed the cut last year, T49 the year before, and T11 the year before that. So he basically was a zero putter the year that he was T11. So my thought is if he can be even better than a zero putter, then which he has the last two tournaments he's performed or he's played in, gaining over half a stroke at Barracuda and half a stroke exactly at the ISCO. So if he can game with the putter and keep the approach stuff kind of in line with what he's been doing and the accuracy as well, he's actually got a really good shot at like a top 5 finish. But I'm going with top 40 here.
Yeah, the thing that jumps out to me is the approach. I mean, he's gaining 0.77 last 24 rounds on approach. That's fantastic for a guy down here at the bottom of the board.
You know what? I got to pull up his odds to win. I'm gonna throw 5 on that too.
I think you might have to. I mean, this is another kind of sign of life thing. Last 24 rounds on approach, he is 6th in this field. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
44th at the Barracuda, 2 missed cuts before that.
He's 225 to 1. So
yeah, that's worth a $5. His putting has been the issue, but putting comes and goes. He's a little bit off the tee, has been a little
Yeah, it's definitely like taking a little bit of a dip, but the accuracy stuff, I think it is also
accuracy's good.
Yeah, or the distance stuff, I mean, is what kind of pulls his off the tee. His off the tee numbers down because his average drive is like it's below tour average, obviously, but I think that's what's kind of doing most. I
think even you might hit it further than Ches Reevy, which is saying something.
I hit it further than Ches Reevy with my hybrid. when I hit it.
Exactly. He actually hits his club like
every single time,
the right way every single time. But yeah, Ches Reevy, I think that's worth a flyer. They're showing some life on approach, and you're going to need that going in this week. You're going to have some birdies. I don't think it's going to be like a crazy birdie fest. But
Tony won it, or Lee Hodges won at 17, or Tony won at 17. I mean,
that's what I'm kind of predicting. We'll see. I think we'll see. I don't think it'll quite get to 20, but yeah, I'd say somewhere between 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there would be my guess on where the winning score is.
No, Lee Hodges went crazy. He won by 7 shots last year at 24 under.
Well, that's just an outlier then. Yeah. Like the dude went bananas.
Everybody else, or second place, 17.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be 17 and 19.
Finau won at 17 by 3 shots. So yeah, you're gonna. It seems like the last 2 years at least, there's been somebody that's kind of just way above the field, and then
because you can tear it apart, but in general, you probably won't, or maybe you'll make a number on one hole, and it'll kind of drag you down a little bit. But yeah, I expect it to be not a birdie fest, but birdies will be higher than. It'll be a hell of a lot higher than last week. I'll say that. There was obviously not that many birdies out there and not that many good scores out there last week. This will be back to a regular-ish PGA Tour event where birdies will be fairly common. I'd expect maybe a 1 under, 2 under, 3 under, somewhere in there cut. I guess we'll see.
All right, well, there's the picks. If you're still watching, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, I'm going to keep throwing out that lineup video in different places because I feel like it's good marketing for us.
I mean, cashed out, like that's a huge win for us, and that's a huge win for you guys. Like I said, I mean, to say the lineup literally on the show, and give that to y'all. I know one of the guys that listens, Big Sal, he used the lineup, but he didn't obviously win as much money as we did. He had it in a different contest. And if nothing else, that proves that when you're picking what contest to use, like really you need to max enter. You need to put it in some of these smaller contests. That's my approach, at least. Like we won this money because it was in a higher money single entry contest. Mm-hmm. If I love entering the $12 single entries, the $5 single entries, the $8 3 maxes. Like that's really where you should be putting your lineups. The throwing it in the $5 150 max lineup.
50K people see that 50K to first.
Like you're just up against it, man. I promise you, there's guys that do this for a living, that have all these stats, have all these numbers, and they hit a button and it just punches out 150 lineups and they just go ahead and send it through. Like they don't even deep dive none of this. They just run the numbers, run the model. The computer makes the lineups for them. They have the funds to do it, and just boom, it's every week. They just punch it out, and hope that they hit that lottery ticket. And so you're up against it when you only make your 8 lineups that you hand built because you think that you've got a good feeling about somebody playing good. Like you're just up against it out the gate. If you single entry, it really levels the playing field and you have a chance. So make sure you are max entering. I would highly recommend as many single entry lineups as you can put together. That's what you need to be doing.
All right, well, let's do the same thing we did last week. Let's talk about some of the DraftKings plays. What are you doing with guys that were in the open outside of Tony Finau? Because I feel like there's a chance that they would draw, number one, pre-tournament. And then number two, I feel like guys that made the cut and had to go through the weekend, like they're probably exhausted.
Yeah, I really will struggle picking. 2 examples come to mind, Sam Burns and Billy Horschel, given that they were there the entire time. They were in contention and they didn't quite get it done. I think it's really tough, man. I mean, that flight from Royal Troon to Minnesota is going to be a brutal one. And they don't have much, like normal golfers. They show up on, if you make the cut the week before, you show up on Monday, you maybe go to the driving range, you maybe just settle into your place. Tuesday, you play a practice round, usually maybe 9 holes. And you get just kind of in this flow of a routine. I think this week it's going to be hard for these guys. They're going to be exhausted. They're going to be adjusting to the time change. They're not going to be in their normal routine. They're obviously have spent a ton of mental energy. They both didn't quite get it done. Obviously, Billy played good. Burns did not on the final day. I don't know. It's a tough click for me, given that you're going to have to spend that much money for a guy that's probably really exhausted. So for me, I don't think I'm going to get there for either one of those guys.
Okay. Are you, so then your strategy more than likely is you'll start your lineups with Finau, and then the problem is if you're skipping that entire section, which, you know, there's not a ton of guys in that area, you're basically going to have, you're going to have to play a ton of like 8K guys, or you're going to have to leave some money on the table.
Yeah, so I will be jumping around the 8K range. There's a lot of guys in the 8K range that I like. So I mentioned Pendrith, obviously. I also like EVR. I also like Hoagie. Dunlap's an interesting one. I don't know. He's coming off the win. He's obviously feeling good. Where was that? Kentucky? Or where was the Barracuda? I don't even know. Either way, wherever it was in the United States, it's a lot easier trip.
I think Kentucky was the week before, right?
Wherever it is, that's an easy trip to Minnesota. Maybe he can ride that wave. Lee Hodges, I don't mind.
Stop right there. So Lee Hodges, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I saw his number go up for betting. Is he getting overlooked a little bit? Because I mean, if you think about it, won the tournament last year, and he's got an okay season going. Had 12th place finish at the PGA Championship, 12th place finish at the Charles Schwab right after that. 31st at Travelers, 26th at Valspar, 24th Wells Fargo. Like, he's got some finishes. And he, like I said, won last year, and I think he was T16 the year before. So good course history as well. 8-2 on DraftKings. Like, I don't know how many people are talking about him, but like I said, I'm pretty sure he opened at 40, 45 to 1 to win, and I think I saw 50 on the board right
he's in kind of that sweet spot. Like, if we think a lot of people are going to start their lineups, like I think, which is going to be Tony Akshay. If you start Tony Akshay, let's see where it puts you, because this is important as far as building your lineups go.
And we are, after we get done with this discussion, we are going to build a lineup, so make sure you stay tuned for that, because we won $12,500 last week. So
we're going to give away another 100.
Yeah.
So
we're going to try and do it again.
Yeah. And this is important to building. This is how you guys should be building. If you're hand building like we are, like, you need to think about what the majority of the public is going to do, and try not to copy that. If I think everybody's going to start Finau Akshay, that puts you at 7,425 for your remaining balance. Who do we think is the next guy clicked?
Clanton could get some steam just because, man, he was
a
super,
lot. If you pick him, it just puts you in
yeah.
a weird spot. Who's like the $7,000 guy that everybody's clicking? Ben Griffin, maybe.
Yeah, Griffin probably.
I could see Griffin.
Jake Knapp's 7,300. He's a pretty popular play most of the time.
Pick Griffin, because I think he's going to be picked. Let's see where that puts you. Now you're at 7,200.
What are you trying? You're trying to build the chalk?
I'm trying to build the chalk lineup and see what everybody's doing, so I can kind of be contrarian off of that.
All right, so you've got what? Akshay, Ben Griffin, Finau.
Yep. 7,200 remaining.
I've seen a lot of people talking about EVR.
Okay.
But I don't know. I would say Griot would be more owned than him.
Who's got like the good course history?
Griot.
Griot.
Look at Griot's course history.
Yeah. That's typically where you're like Gim too.
So then do Griot Gim. Unless you don't think Gim will be that owned.
I don't think Griot's going to be that owned. I mean, he'll be owned, but I don't think he's going to be like insane.
What's his course history?
That puts you too low. I don't think people are going to do that.
Yeah, he's 8.5. I mean, he's up there.
I'll pick Gim. All right, so we got Tony, Akshay, Gim, Griffin, 7,200. Who's the next? Hughes got good course history?
No. I don't think so.
Might be Hodges or Thorbjornsen. No,
The problem is that push. I mean, we got 7,200 left.
Oh, you know who it is? It's probably Shipley or Knapp.
Yeah, I said Knapp. I don't know if everybody would go to Shipley like that.
Yeah, no, it probably won't be Shipley. Where did Knapp finish? Did he just have a good finish to like people can cling on to? 24th at the Barracuda. Okay, let's go Knapp. We'll say it's Knapp.
And that leaves you 7,200. Eckroat is there. Kevin Yu is there. JJ Spawn. Pearson Cootie. It's hard to get chalky this week. That's the thing. Like it's like you said, there's so many guys in this range right here that I don't know who's gonna be.
Might be Spawn.
Yeah, I could see that.
Good recent results. All right, that's what I think is going to be the chalk lineup. So this is what you're trying to fade. If I'm, and I say fade to an extent. Like if this is the chalk lineup, when I'll go say Finau, Akshay, Griffin, Knapp, Gim, Spawn. If we think that that's the chalkiest lineup, it spends all your money, and this is going to be a lineup that's probably created by a lot of people, especially in those big contests. All you have to do, really, in my mind, is take one of these guys and change it to somebody that like nobody's going to have, and boom, you're different instantly. So if you just take, who do we like the least out of these guys?
Griffin.
Yeah. If you take Griffin.
I'm not a Griffin guy this week.
You
could bite me in the ass, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like you take Griffin and then you go to who in this range
Thorbjornsen
played bad. Yeah, I think it's Thorbjornsen. I think you just swap Griffin and Thorbjornsen, and all of a sudden you're different than everybody. You got $200 left on the table. Not a lot of people probably going to Thorbjornsen after his not so great Barracuda. Even worse, Isco. Didn't he I think he missed the cut at the Isco.
No, yeah, he missed the cut at Isco.
And then
he played pretty bad on the weekend at Barracuda.
Yeah, I think that's the fade. Yeah, made the cut at the Barracuda, but yeah, T61 stats were fine. He basically neutral on approach, gained a little bit putting, bad around the greens, and bad putting. Yeah, like that lineup all of a sudden, boom, I like it. Like that's a lineup that you could play. It's not going to be our lineup of the week,
It's not.
but I will put that somewhere, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to screenshot it so I remember.
All right.
But
Well,
we can go ahead now and build
yeah, let's build
kind
one.
of against that and build who we think is going to be good regardless of ownership.
All right. So same thing as last week. We are going to build a lineup on DraftKings. If all 6 of the golfers in this lineup make the cut, we're giving away $100 to somebody. And it's
Again.
very simple. All you have to do
It's simple.
is like the video, comment your favorite pick to win or your favorite play. If you guys want to get fancy with it, whatever. You
Comment
can say,
a golfer.
yeah, comment a golfer's name that's in this tournament. And yeah, that's, again, you can subscribe to the
YouTube for an extra entry.
extra entry. It's
Absolutely.
really simple. We're going to make a separate video again with those simple instructions, and hopefully you guys follow it this time. All right, let's build the lineup. Who went first last time? Do you remember?
You did. You went, and I think you picked Matsuyama right out the gate.
I said favorite play. So let's switch. Do you want to switch it up or keep the same energy?
Let's switch it.
Okay, go ahead.
First pick for the Bet Haven lineup of the week is Tony Finau.
Shocker. My pick is going to be Johnny Vegas.
Ooh, Vegas. Okay, that leaves us 8,000. I'm going to go with Taylor Pendrith.
All right, jumping up a little bit, I see. 7,700.
I'm spending the money this week. You spent the money last week. I'm spending it this week.
Hey, it worked, didn't it?
No, yeah, no, I have no problem with it.
You're spending the money.
You had Xander, which ended up being obviously the best pick you could have. I'm trying to think of who else you picked.
I picked Xander, Henley, Motts.
I picked M. Siwoo. Oh, M. Siwoo and
Morikawa.
Morikawa, yeah.
Man, I'm. What do I want to do here?
7,767 remaining. Finau, Pendrith, Vegas.
Again, the idea is to make the cut here, right?
Yep, we want 6 of 6 so we can pay the people out. Again. Free band.
Cut makers. I don't think I can treat it like that. I feel like if I fade away from my actual picks, then it's just gonna make me feel bad if they hit and these randos I choose don't. So I'm going Seamus Power.
Seamus Power. That's probably the right decision. Yeah, you'll regret it if you don't do that for sure. That leaves us in an interesting spot. 8,000 remaining now for 2 guys. And I don't really have anybody like...
You pointed out somebody before we started the show.
I don't have anybody locked that I'm like, oh yeah, I really need to pick this guy kind of thing.
The pricing is weird this week. I mean, it's just...
That puts us too low. I'm not going to do that. Where does that put us? Yeah, I'll do that. Screw it. My pick is EVR, Eric Van Rooyen.
Oh my God.
Do you know he went to Minnesota University?
I did know that.
In Minnesota. He's probably got some rounds in there.
All right. My final pick. Neil Shipley.
Neil Shipley. Okay. I like it. We did not mention Neil Shipley.
No, but we can do it now.
So Neil Shipley at the Barracuda finished T40, which you would look at that result and think, that's pretty okay for a guy that was kind of trending, honestly. Like, he was on people's radar, obviously. Maybe this will put people off of him a little bit, but when you deep dive the stats, he was number one in approach, gaining 8.5 for the tournament and lost 6.5 putting. Yikes.
And if you're not keen to what these stats typically look like, gaining 8.5 strokes on approach is a monster number. Yeah. Losing 6.5 strokes putting is also a monster number in the other direction.
Yeah. So this T40 maybe looks kind of meh, but when you look at the approach and the ball striking, he was flushing it, and he just was not capitalizing on that. I thoroughly believe that he will not putt that bad this week. Will he continue the approach? I don't know. I hope so. If he continues the approach to any extent,
right,
and putts 0, he's going to be in contention. So that's the hope. That my point is that T40 for Neil Shipley, I promise, is a lot better than it looks on paper. So the lineup of the week, the Bet Haven lineup of the week is Tony Finau, Eric Van Rooyen, Johnny Vegas, Seamus Power. I messed it up. I was trying to say it in order. The Bet Haven giveaway lineup of the week.
Start over. All right, ready to go.
The Bet Haven giveaway lineup of the week is Tony Finau, Taylor Pendrith, Eric Van Rooyen, Johnny Vegas, Seamus Power, and Neil Shipley.
If all 6 of those guys make the cut, we're giving away $100, the same that we did last week after all 6 of our guys made the cut. It's really simple.
Back to back.
Like the video, comment your favorite player in this tournament that you think is going to win, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Boom.
$100. Free money.
Free money. Free bands.
And there's free money for somebody last week. It could be you this week.
All right. That's the show.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We're both sick.
Oh, no, dude.
He's already got me sick over here. All right. That's the show. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're new to sports betting, make sure you check out the link in the description of this video. You can get access to all the bonus bets and deposit matches across various sports books. I always forget to mention that at the beginning of the show. It is what it is. You should still be watching anyways, because we just did the most important part. As always, we appreciate all of you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. No, the Olympics are next week, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think we should probably do something for that.
Okay, we'll see. We'll do an Olympic show. Oh wait, I won't be here.
You won't be here. We'll put out some TikToks or something. Yeah, I'll find my favorite plays, and we can put out some TikTok versions. So make sure you're following the TikTok and the Instagram.
At the Bet Haven.
That's where that information will be for the Olympics.
Yeah, at the Bet Haven, not just Bet Haven. All right, we'll see you guys next week.